G'day friends, welcome to day 9 of Mermay 2024. Today I have a watercolor mermaid for you, and I've done a piece inspired by a photo I came across on Instagram. I'm not sure if I put the photo in when I did the drawing or if I put it in afterwards. I'm pretty sure I put it in afterwards. I just took a screenshot. It was actually AI generated, which still haven't formulated all my thoughts on all of that. I think people haven't taken to it as much. I think in the art space, I think people still be able to easily identify AI art, or relatively easily identify it. And it seems to be like, from what I see, a lot of people push back against AI generated work being used instead of someone's real work being used for a job. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're a background artist in an animation, like in a TV animation, then it seems pretty widespread, this belief that that should not be replaced by AI generated art. And I have seen, I think there was one movie that was using some AI generated stuff as like just assets, like art assets, props and stuff in the movie, and people didn't like that. So I think I'm all for things being easier, getting help along the way where we can get it. And I don't necessarily have anything against AI, but I do think, I mean, there's just always been, as soon as we like automated everything, there's always been that risk of replacing ourselves and, you know, making ourselves redundant, in the sense that if a computer could do it faster and easier and cheaper, then why would we need a person to do it? And realistically, that would make a lot of sense in fields that were super dangerous or incredibly labor intensive, that, you know, in like jobs that people necessarily didn't want to do, but kind of had to do because they were the only people that could do it. I would think like AI and, you know, that advanced technology would be useful in those spaces. But for things like art and creativity, apparently there's an AI movie coming out, and people say it looks pretty lifeless, which I guess is the point, right? It's AI, it's artificial intelligent. Well, that's not what that is, but it's made by computers, so I don't know. Can you say it has a soul? I don't know. People say that's weird too. Like, how do you say what a soul is? People say also, like, where is your soul in your body? Or someone asked, like, where do you live inside your body? So when I picture me inside me, I'm in my head. Like, all of the me I know is up here. Like, and I think my soul is in my head too. I don't know where. Some people think their soul is in their heart. I guess there's no way to really know. And, or like, what does your soul look like? Now I think it kind of looks like those little souls from the movie Soul, the Pixar one. But I think I only really think that because I see that parade float a lot. Anyway, how do we get onto that? Oh, it was AI generated mermaid, but I just like to pose, and I like the kind of retro vibe that she had. She was very vintage pin-uppy, so I used that as inspiration and then kind of just did what I wanted. Actually, let me have a look at the piece, because I wonder if I referenced my mermaid jewel hair Teresa. I did, to an extent. I did do her hair and put lots of little starfish flowers in there. I had this Barbie doll, and I think I want to get one again, just to like have it as a little trinket up on my thing. I had this Barbie doll when I was younger called Mermaid Jewel Hair Teresa. There was a Mermaid Jewel Hair Barbie. There were a few others, but I had the one, she had a pink tail and brown hair, and I just loved it. Her hair was as long as she was, which was my favorite part. When I used to play Barbies, it was just mostly about the hair. And I thought I used to want to be a hairdresser when I got older. Because I loved playing with the Barbie's hair so much, or I loved styling them. I wanted to put them in their clothes, do their hair, put them in a pose, and just leave them there. Like, I wasn't really one to play Barbies where I'd, you know, role play with them. It was just more of a, like, dress them up, set them up, you know, admire them from afar kind of a thing. Anyway, Mermaid Jewel Hair Teresa was one of my absolute favorites. If you did Virtual Voyage 4, the Lamplight Cruise, we're talking a lot about childhood stuff there, and I think I did a whole bunch of illustrations of all my childhood toys as inspired by Mary Blair, that kind of aesthetic. And I did do the Mermaid Jewel Hair Teresa, and I just loved her. She had such long hair, and she had these little Velcro starfish that you could like Velcro onto her hair, and she had a crown and her beautiful tail. And I used to take her to the pool, and I would like be at the public pool and I would lay down on the edge and put her in the water and just swim her like that. So I wouldn't be in it, but I would just be watching her swim because I just loved seeing how her hair flowed in the water. When I grew out long hair the first time, I remember I was in Bermuda and it was finally long enough for me to actually like feel this sensation. It's so weird, but when I used to swim the dolls under the water, I would make them go really fast and then stop, and I loved the way that when they stopped, all of their hair would kind of rush forward over their head. And I was in Bermuda and we went to the beach, and I just remember the whole day I was swimming underwater and pushing my head forward and then stopping and then feeling my hair flow forward. It was so stupid, but I just always wondered what that felt like. I love the look of it. I think that's also why I love the live action Little Mermaid so much, because there's just so much of her hair just flowing and doing all of that. I don't know what you call it. Like, is it underwater hair dynamic physics, or what is it? I don't know. But just the flow of the hair in the water was so nice. You can see I'm struggling with my nasal drip today. Why does May have to be in spring? We could do Mermay where I didn't have allergies every single day, but I have to go anyway because I do have it's like a lunch meeting. It's like a brunch, but there's a specific purpose to it. So it's not like just for nothing. It's not business either. I have knowledge about something that I have to pass on to somebody, but it just seemed easier to do it in a brunch than to write it all out. So I'm going to go and it's nothing, I don't know why I'm explaining it like this is the biggest national secret. I'm talking about a visa situation. I came here on a visa when I immigrated, and it's a long process, and it's confusing, and it's expensive, and I did it all myself. So a lot of people will involve an immigration lawyer or attorney, I don't know what they're called, but they will handle a lot of the process for you. But realistically, they'll actually just ask you to provide everything, and they kind of input the data. It's not like they're going to handle it all, because if there's a form where it says, what's your passport number, they're going to have to ask you for that. So when you're collecting all the stuff that they're asking for, then giving it to them, they're just inputting the data, and you've already collected it all, which is the thing that I thought. Originally, I thought there was another purpose to having them, and they can deal with trickier cases, and they do have more knowledge. I'll give them that. But my case was pretty straightforward. So I felt like, well, if I'm gathering all the information, like I can put the numbers in, I can write it out. It's fine. That, and you just also, I'd say it's boring to have to read everything. But I'm not quite sure how much has changed since I did it, because I came over in 2016. Yes, I came over in 2016. So it's been a long time since then. I think the process is still pretty much the same, but yeah, it's kind of wild. That immigration journey I would love to never have to revisit. I think when Steve goes to Australia eventually, when we decide to, pack it up and move to Australia, I think it'll be much easier. Australia doesn't have like the whole green card situation that you have over here. I think that was the thing that shocked me the most. I came over, I got married. You know that 90 Day Fiancé show? That's very legit. That's very real. That's how it happens. When you come over on that fiancé visa, you have 90 days to get married, and then you have to change your status from fiancé to permanent resident, because you came into the country as a fiancé, but then you need to tell the government, well, I'm married now, so I want to change, the way I'm here, the way I'm, documented here as fiancé, I want to change that to permanent resident. And a lot of people try to do it other ways, but the fiancé visa really is like kind of the most straightforward way to do that if you are getting, legitimately married, which I was. And but the thing I didn't really understand was that the change of status was going to take so long, and you couldn't work until they gave you temporary work authorization, which for me didn't come for like, I want to say 7 months. So there was a period after I got here that I didn't have the ability to work. And that was why they did all of those financial checks. Like, it's really something that gets only approved if, I would say even less, that they consider it a legitimate partnership, because that is so subjective. But they really consider your financial situation. They have to make sure that you're going to come over here and you're not going to have no money, or that you're, the spouse that sponsors you is not going to be, trying to get some government support because they, imported a husband or a wife. So that was really interesting. But then, yeah, not being able to work. And then all of the things that happen afterwards, like your credit score starts from 0. So no one will give you a credit card. You kind of have to be with your partner, getting them to set everything up for you. And that just feels, you know, as someone who's really independent, I really hated feeling like I was just a kid that had to get Steve to do everything for me. And then I had to get my license and I failed that test. That's a nightmare. Because apparently the way you drive in Southern California on the road to stay alive is very different to the way you have to take the test. And I was under the impression that I should just drive the way that everyone drives. Not the case. You have to learn how to take the test. And because the lady said to me, she's like, you're a good driver, you're just not a good test taker. So she at least told me that. It's defensive driving in Southern California. As someone with PTSD specifically related to car accidents, it's a lot to deal with. But yeah, you have to you get your license, you got to figure out how you get anything without a credit score. I mean, really, you're just building that for a couple of years. Employment was hard for me, but I don't think that was because of immigration. I think when I finally could get employed, I didn't go to university, so I didn't have a degree, and a lot of people just up front expect that you have a degree. So I ended up lying on a couple of those applications. I still didn't get any jobs. So I just made my own. That's how we're here at jlbCREATIVE. Anyway, maybe that's a story for another time, but I got to go and have that conversation with someone, let them know all about the fun details that they'll be in for. But have a wonderful day, everyone. Enjoy Mermay. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.